Scott, thanks for joining us. In a way, this conversation has just got a lot easier thanks to our captain out there. What was your overall reflection on the game?
I think obviously we played a good side. They're up there. They're in the playoffs for a reason. I think first half was a bit of a boxing match. It was, it was they attacked, we attacked a little bit, and it was a little bit open for me. I don't think we quite got our distances right when we're up the pitch. We're a bit deep. We created some bits and pieces in that first half, and yeah, it was kind of a little bit even. Maybe they edged it slightly in that first half, and then I've made a couple of change in midfield and wanted a little bit more control, which I feel we got in the second half. I thought we were really good in that second half. I think it became anxious, but it didn't need to be. We're still in the game, and I thought we were really good in that second half. I thought, we knocked the door down many times and couldn't get in, and then we found it right at the end there. But I don't know how many shots we had. Something like 18. Somebody said we had more touches in the box than them. I thought we were good. I thought we were good, and rightly so, deserved something from that game. Based on that second half performance, I think the first half was a bit even. Ebbed and flowed a little bit. There's bits that weren't right. There was bits that I wasn't happy with. I sorted it out at half time, and we looked so much better in the second half. And listen, I've got to be proud of the players. They kept going right to the very end, right to the very last kick, and we got what I think we deserved, which was a goal, which gives us a point against a good side. We've taken 2 points now in the last 2 games of 2 of the promotion hopefuls, and we can only look positively from that.
Yeah, we were by far and away the better side in that second half, but it seemed like minutes sort of 50 to 80 went by with a click of a finger. And in many ways, I suppose it's normal for that anxiousness to set in because when you're behind, you want to get back level, especially when you're playing so well. But was there a point out there where you wanted to sort of just say to the lads, sort of like, slow it down, we got time?
Yeah, I think we just got to keep playing our way. There's some shouts from the crowd about a few things about getting it forward and stuff like that. And, every time we did that, it come back. We need to play our football, and I felt we did it better in the second half. And, we created some big chances. I thought Darcy was unlucky not to score. I thought Lolas came close as well with a shot, if I remember, in that second half. And some bits and pieces, there's a lot of goal mouth action in that second half from us. And I was pleased with that. That's what I wanted. I wanted us to test them out. I wanted us to put it in the box. And lo and behold, our captain comes through with a great goal at the end there. And it was nothing more or less than what we deserved. I think that on reflection of the game, it was very, very even in the first half. You could argue they maybe edged it because they score a goal, we don't. But we definitely had the more of everything in that second half. So in reflection, I think we were the better team throughout the game, and we have to be proud of that. The fact that we've just done that to a team who are in the playoffs, and it's a good point, really. I think that we could have been better in the first half. I'm not going to argue that. I think we could have been better, but I was really pleased with that second half performance.
Yeah, and the mentality as well. Obviously, we know Jay Williams has probably got one of the best mentalities in the Football League, let alone at this club and in this division. But it's so important, isn't it, that we keep fighting till the very end, because you never know when an opportunity is going to rise. Just when you think that the game's done with one of the last throw-ins, and then we get it in the box and we score, it's so important, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes a second to score a goal, but it takes sometimes 90 minutes to create that. You know what I mean? And we've just got to keep doing what we did in that second half. We put a lot of balls in their box. We were present. We were high up the pitch. I didn't think we were high up the pitch in the first half, and that's why we got undone on a few occasions, because our back line was so deep. The distances were wrong. And there was, I don't know if you remember the action where Clyde chipped it over somebody's head in the first half, then it come back and he chipped it over the same player's head again, and he's through. But the back line is so deep, the ball turns over, then they're at us because we're so deep. We need to be up the pitch with him. You know what I mean? That's an example of what I mean. And we wasn't, and I put it right at half time, and it looks so much better. I'm really proud of the players because they took on board the information at half time and did it really well. And like I say, I thought we were by far the better team in that second half, and we deserved something from it. And It's a good point. Like I know, like the fans want to see us win. So do I. So do the team. The team want to win. But listen, it's another positive. It's in the direction we want to go in. And out of the last two games, you look at MK Dons and Chesterfield, you think, right, we need to get something from this game. Well, we just have. So we go on to the next one now.
Yeah, as you say, it's actually turned into a very prosperous week because we've taken 2 points, as you say, very decent sides, and also to just break that little bit of run without scoring as well. Obviously, we know it took until the 94th minute today, but things like that are important for the confidence, aren't they?
Well, yeah. Listen, you play against teams who have got good defensive structures. They have, and it's hard to break down sometimes. MK Dons don't concede goals, and Chesterfield don't either. You know what I mean? It's difficult. They've got experienced players in that back line, and I thought that we went to the very end because I knew if we just kept putting ball after ball in that box and try to knock the door down, eventually something will happen. And of course it did. And we can never give up. You can never give up. Like I say, it only takes a second to put the ball in the net. We've got to keep doing it and doing it well. I didn't think we did that probably well enough in the first half. But I'm really proud of how we played in that second half. And sometimes you're not always going to get it your own way. You're not always going to play brilliant football for 90 minutes. You're not. Especially against good teams. They're going to have moments in the game where they look better than you. That's football. It's fine margins. And I think the least we deserved is a draw from that game, in my opinion. The least we deserved was a draw. So I'm happy. There's bits that I need to look at again from that first half, but I'm happy. It's a good point. Would we have wanted all three? Of course we want all three, but we have to take the positives from that and the fact that the team continue to break the door down and we score late. We haven't scored a lot of late goals, so we send the fans down the road with a little bit of something, to cheer about. So I'm pleased.
You say about that late goal there. Is that going to be a real momentum boost? I'm sure you're not concerned with what other teams are doing, but Barrow obviously conceded too late on. Is that the sort of swing you need, a late boost for you and a late blow for another team maybe?
Yeah, of course. We can't control what goes on in other games, but you're dead right. I watched parts of that Fleetwood Barrow game and, I thought Fleetwood looked the better team in the game anyway. I didn't understand why they were 2-0 down, but they kept going and they got what they deserved probably in the end, and it deflates them. And we got to just control what we can control. And I'm pleased with the fact that we did things quickly. We did things quickly on the goal. I think it was Taylor picked the ball up, threw it to Darcy, and another assist from Darcy. He's had 2 or 3 assists now, and we need more assists and goals from our number 10 positions. We need that, and I think both of them. Lolas and Darcy, and then obviously Dion come on in that position as well. I think Lolas and Darcy had a couple of chances to score. Obviously Darcy hits the post. But yeah, it does deflate. It does deflate teams when you concede late on, and it gives us a boost. So we'll take that at the moment. Next week we might be on the other end of it, but we'll take it at the moment.
Josh Flint missed the game, and then obviously Lewis Richards came off in the first half. It might be too early for Richards, but is there an update on those two?
Yeah, so Flinty has a real sore Achilles. He's really struggling with it. It's kind of going into his calf a little bit. And Lewis felt his calf actually in that first half, so we didn't want to risk that. And I thought Johnny's game as they come, he'll win. Header after header, he'll tackle, he'll run back, he'll chase, he'll press, he'll organise his team. So it wasn't a massive concern to me when we had to make that change, because I know Johnny is capable of doing it really well.
So obviously those two getting injured, you've obviously had Vassell out as well. Are you happy to stick with the 3 at the back with Russell? Obviously Russell had a good game today, or is there any?
Well, we can't play 4 at the back. We ain't got any fullbacks.
That's a good point. Yeah. So yeah, going to stick with that way forward for now. Yeah.
Yeah, we've recruited for back 3. We can't play a back 4.
Fair enough.
There's not one fullback in the building.
Yeah.
So there's no way we can play a back 4.
And you weren't on the touchline today, which was a bit of a surprise at the start of the game. It was clarified by the club that it was a too much ban. What was it like watching it almost as a fan today?
I actually enjoy being up in the stands. I feel a lot calmer. The bit I don't like is not coming out and seeing the fans before the game and then applauding them at the end. That's the bit I don't like and I can't do. So I apologise for that. But I have a calmness up there. I'm sat with my analyst who's really good. He's got all the feed up there so we can watch bits back. I've got a feed down to the bench so I can speak to my assistants. Yeah, and I think you get a better view of the game. Yeah, I enjoy it. I don't mind it up there. I really don't. And it's maybe something I spoke about this before about maybe doing it when I'm not suspended. I actually like it. You know, I think you can get a real measure of what's going on. I could see the distances wasn't right in that first half. So, no, it was fine.
And finally, Addy started his first game for quite a while. I thought he was very lively on the left-hand side. Were you pleased with him? And has he worked his way back into the side after having a bit of a spell out?
Yeah, he's worked his way back into the squad, certainly. And I thought, yeah, he looked tired to me, certainly in that, you know, before I took him off, he looked really tired. And there was parts in the game where he was really lively and good. And yeah, it's, you know, he's taking his, or it'll take a bit of time for him to ease back into the levels that he reached at the start of the season. But I'm sure we'll see that again, definitely.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Charlie, thanks for joining us. A bit of a grudge match here at the Broadfield Stadium. How did you see it out there?
Don't think the first half was very pretty. Didn't really get it down. Didn't really play. Still had a couple half decent chances. Obviously, they score a good goal. Defensively for the goal, can't really remember it, but I think they just cut us open. It was a bit open at the back. So yeah, need to see that back. But yeah, it weren't a pretty first half, and I think second half we came out really front foot. Put them on the back foot straight away. Loads of balls in the box, made them defend a lot, and then just kept fighting to the end. And then Jay takes the massive chance we get at the end. Yeah,
Scott said that the players evidently got the message. We obviously won't ask you to divulge quite what that was, but it seemed like you got a real confidence boost sort of at the start of the second half out there. And, you know, as you say, started slinging some decent balls into the box. And I suppose if you do that over and over and over again, one of them is eventually going to work. So
yeah, that was part of the message was, what have we got to lose? Like, there's no point playing backwards. Just go play forwards, go be brave, go get on it, go make things happen. And then when you get in the final third, like, someone shows a bit of magic. And look, we said, look, it might not come after 5 minutes. You got to fight for the whole half, and we did. I think it was the 94th minute it went in. So yeah, you got to keep batting down the door, and in the end, if you do it well enough, something will drop for you.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, we played this week two of the teams that are going to be in and around at the end of the season in the promotion race. And ultimately, you've got to make them defend. Obviously, we didn't score on Tuesday night, but we made MK Dons work. We've made, you know, Chesterfield work here today, and eventually it's paid off, hasn't it?
Yeah. Look, can't hide from it. Scoring goals has been a bit of a problem lately. But I think we've defended fairly well in recent weeks. We've had, I think, 3 or 4 clean sheets. Conceded 1 at one at Crew here, 1 today. And look, as long as we're doing our job at the back, keeping the ball out of the net, we've definitely got enough quality in the team that goals will come. And then when them goals come, we'll start winning games.
Yeah, and as you say, Jacob's had a few saves to make today. The goal, obviously, it's a good hit, but it takes a bit of a deflection. You know, you never know where that's going to end up if it doesn't take a deflection. So in many ways, that could have easily been a second, you know, clean sheet in the bounce, and, you know, things would be really looking up again, and we'd be on the back of 3 points. But the good news is we're staying in games. You know, that ultimately you can't lose if you stay in a game. So it's surely only a matter of time before it sort of clicks and goes our way, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I think that we've got to keep getting better. Everyone's got to keep doing their job. Like, us defenders got to, like, simplify. At this stage we're in, it's got to be simplified. Like, we keep the ball at the net, let the boys go take the glory, do the magic, and win us games of football. But yeah, look, it was tough to take, going 1 behind, but it's going to happen. We've got to be good enough and resilient enough to come back and fight and stay in games, and I think that's what we did.
There's been some tough days at home recently, I'm sure you know, and some of the fans have vented their frustrations. How big is a late goal like that, and the mood at the end of the game in the stadium, how big is that going to be to build on in these really important coming weeks?
Yeah, it was great to see how many people were still there at the end, and I think it was because they could smell it as well. All the pressure was piled on, We were creating chances. I think we hit the post about 10 minutes before. I think they felt like something was going to come, but like it's great to give the fans something to cheer about like that. That we haven't given them enough this season in general. So we just want to give them as many moments as we can to enjoy coming and keep coming.
As Sam mentioned Jacob there, obviously there's been lots of change in that back line, and even today you had a new partner at the start with Lewis Richards, and then he was injured, so Johnny slotted in there. What's it like playing when you have so many different partners almost every week?
The back three was pretty settled for the first half of the season, but obviously changes were made. We weren't keeping enough clean sheets. We were conceding too many goals. Everyone, they're all good players. Everyone that's coming in and like not in the team, injured, it's all good players. So everyone can play with each other. Obviously, we train every day with each other. We know what everyone's strengths, weaknesses are. Obviously, it's nice when it's settled, but at this stage of the season, when there's so many games, people are going to pick up injuries, suspensions. It's not going to be a consistent team. So you have to be able to adapt and stick together. And they're all good players. So you got to trust them to do their jobs.
And not to go back to the MK Dons game on Tuesday, but we heard from your dad, the assistant manager, about how it was a bit strange playing against you. What was it like for you playing in that game?
It is a bit weird. I didn't see him before the game at all. The first time I saw him is I went to pick a ball up in their dugout for a throw-in, and he was just stood there looking at me. It was a little bit weird, but it's a really nice thing to have the opportunity to do. I enjoyed it. Don't know how often I'd like to do it, but it was really nice.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you.